here, but if not, I'm about to click go live, so then I'm going to start as if I just... Hi everyone! Welcome to another Write with Josie. I hope you're all right. Mate, 10 days and still going strong. How great is that? That's so cool. Just to be clear, I'm not a fan of Starbucks. I am, but I'm not a fan of their business and tax-paying choices. But I tell you what I am a fan of. The iced blonde vanilla oat shaken latte. Oat shaken espresso. Bloody delicious. Big fan. Sorry about it. I'm also caffeined up to the max because I've just spent the weekend with my niece and I'm exhausted. Turns out 2-year-olds are tiring. But that's not why we're here today. We're not here to chat about me and my niece. We're here to write. So for those of you who don't know, April is NaPoWriMo, which stands for National Poetry Writing Month. And basically, the people, the poets, aim to write a poem every day. Quite frankly, personally, I think that's unsustainable. But if you're into that, then fair play. It's just not my truth. So what I'm going to do, what I've been doing, is writing every day for 15 minutes. And if you're one of those people who wants to write a full poem every day, then rock on, more power to you. You can use this time to start that creative process and write your poem. For me, I'm just aiming for a free write every day, and I thought I'd bring you guys with me. I thought we'd give it a go, you know? So what we're going to do, I'm going to play some royalty-free lo-fi beats from Harris Heller, who is a YouTuber and musician who makes free-to-use music. Thank you so much, Harris. I know you're probably never going to watch my little stream, but I'm grateful for you anyway. And we're going to put some music on, we're going to start a timer, and we'll write together. Now, every day, I provide some prompts for you, which is exciting, isn't it? So, you might have heard of Sav Brown and Escapril. If you haven't heard of NaPoWriMo, you might have heard of Escapril or vice versa. Escapril is basically the same thing, write a poem every day, but the prompts are provided by a poetry YouTuber called Sav Brown, who is lush, by the way. And yes, she makes up these prompts every day, so we include the Sav Brown prompts, but I also drop you with some other ones, some other prompts for you to write to. Or you can pick one that, if you've got a poem that's been knocking on the door upstairs and you need to write it but you haven't, then you can use this time to do that as well. So the prompts for today, for the 10th of April, are... Escapril prompt is drug of choice. Now, I think that's kind of cool, kind of interesting. What I encourage you to do is lean into doing something really different with this. So I argue you shouldn't use a drug. Even caffeine. It's just a boring way to write about this prompt. I actually quite like this prompt. I also think another boring and maybe slightly cliche way to write this prompt would be to say that you are my drug of choice and making it about some sort of weird toxic relationship. I think that's boring. Why don't you pick a random object or your favourite hobby or a certain type of weather or your favourite shoes? Could be your drug of choice. I think that could be really fun. You could really have some fun with that prompt. So, look, if you want to write about a specific drug or you want to say that a person is your drug of choice, then by all means, do it. In fact, I think this would be pretty fun to write about my niece, who is chaos embodied, but also when she gives me a cuddle, Never feel anything like it. Bloody lovely. Being cuddled by a toddler is wonderful. Okay, so then the other prompts. Prompt number 2 came from my 642 things to write about thing. It's been a go-to for a number of years for me, which is where you wish you were. Where you wish you were. And then number 3, you might recognise as a reference to Encanto. And if that is what you recognised it as, then you are correct. The prompt number 3 is Under the Surface, which is a lyric from Surface Pressure. Hello, George. Thank you. I think it's the fact I'm caffeinated today is making me want to expand on these prompts a hell of a lot more. But yeah, Under the Surface is a lyric from Louisa's song Surface Pressure. And today is D&D Day. D&D Day is normally Sundays, but because it's a bank holiday, we're doing D&D today, Monday. And my character for D&D is a barbarian loosely based on Louisa from Encanto. So I'm going to be doing Under the Surface as a little warm-up for getting into my character to play D&D this afternoon. So that's what I'm going to be writing. Yeah, pick your prompt, or again, if you've got one up there that's been knocking on the door of your brain that you want to write, then pick that. We are going to get started very soon. Just find your page. And at the end, we'll share a favourite line in the chat or in the comments. I've just realised, actually, I don't know if having a screenshot of the prompts is the most... Oh, shit. No, I spilt my coffee on my carpet. Okay. I'm not sure whether having the prompts as a screenshot is necessarily the most accessible way of doing it. I think, do you know what? The best way of doing it is probably both, isn't it? So that someone can use a screen reader. If I put it in the chat, a screen reader will do it better, won't it? That's what I'm thinking. Maybe, I don't know. Right, we'll close down my thing. Pen ready. Oh, George said, as a carer, I relate a lot to Surface Pressure, as I know a lot of other carers do. Yeah, absolutely. I think as well, my thing is just being an older sister. The whole family dynamics thing there is interesting. But yeah, I really like Surface Pressure. I think part of it for me is what makes Louisa such an interesting D&D character is having her be really, really strong. Arguably, I rolled really well when we were creating her character sheet. Being really, really strong, but also having chronic anxiety, I think makes her an interesting person to play as D&D. So I love the song. I always listen to the song before a D&D session. And one of the characters played by one of my friends, we supposedly have backstory together. So I've set him homework of watching Encanto, and he still hasn't. I don't think he has before this session. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Right then, pens at the ready. And I've managed to pour coffee on my notebook. I think that just adds character. We're going to roll with it. Right, we're going to get the music playing. George, if you could let me know how the music level is. I'm trying different things. If you could let me know what the music level is, that would be ideal. Because it's hard for me to tell. Like, this level for me in the office is great for writing to, but it's kind of hard to speak over. And I'm just wondering what the levels are like for you guys watching. I've realised that there's quite a delay between when I speak to when you guys reply, which is when I put it on normal latency, which means there's quite a delay. Cool, alright, nice. I think what I'm going to do in future is I'm going to keep the music off while I do my intros, because the way it is now is it's slightly too loud for me to speak and think. Don't know whether that's just me being a bit like slow on a Monday morning. But yeah, right, we're going to start the writing now. Let's go. Pick a prompt, get your pen, get your notebook or a laptop, and we're going to write for 15 minutes. Let's go. guys, I'm going to write 5 minutes about each prompt. It's time to move on to your next prompt. I'm seeing that there's a couple of questions in the chat, and I just want to say, like, we're writing right now, and I'll answer them at the end after the time is finished. So I'm going to carry on writing. Okay guys, that is 10 minutes down. You have 5 minutes left of writing to go. So if you are doing 5 minutes on each prompt, make sure you switch to your last prompt now. Okay guys, that is the end of the Write With Me. Okay, I'm going to pause the music as well because I always get distracted by it and it makes me go So, I hope you guys are okay. I noticed that there was some like streaming issues halfway through. I hope that wasn't too disruptive. I hoped that you are so in the zone that you just kept going because you were just so creatively charged. Hello, I've got a question. Hello, do you normally start with a pen and paper? Personally, yes. For me, I always start with a pen and paper. I like the tactileness of it. For me, and this isn't for everyone, and that's okay, for me, it feels more creative. Like I am creating an actual thing when I can hold something in my hand and make marks on something, right? But I also find that in my sort of drafting process, the act of typing something up, taking it from the pages of my notebook and typing it into a Word document, for me, that is also part of the creative process. It is part of the drafting process for me. I often find that is where I solidify a lot of my line breaks. It is also where I make my decisions about punctuation as well. So yeah, that's where I normally start pen and paper and switch to laptops. However, a lot of people prefer laptops, especially if they're not so confident in their handwriting, or I know that like a lot of younger people who have maybe grown up with technology tend to write on laptops straight away. George says, I'm dyslexic and a slow typer currently as I have acrylics on, so my responses may be even slower. Now I've got this image of, the gif of Peter Griffin from Family Guy when he's got those really long nails on and it's like click clacking, like click clack 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 clack. Personally, I find it difficult to write straight onto a screen first. So yeah, take it slow. It gives you time to think of the next word. There's no rushing. But yeah, coffee stains on pages. I'm glad that we agree they add character, because otherwise then most of my notebooks are just scruffy, but now they're characterful, which I like. Okay guys, I'm going to end it there because I need to go and set up for my Dungeons and Dragons game this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining in the chat, and if you are watching this on Catch Up Crew, I value your presence here as well. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will speak to you all tomorrow. I am hoping that tomorrow I will schedule all of the lives, so they'll be in your, if you're subscribed and you have notifications on, it will be in your feed. Like all of this week's is my goal. Tomorrow I'm going to schedule all of this week's writing so that we can do it together. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to love you and leave you. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye guys!